Hey, how's it going, YouTube? How y'all doing today? Got one more cool morning today, and then it's supposed to turn blistering hot. So it's pretty cool out here this morning. But starting tomorrow again, it's supposed to get real hot, and it's supposed to stay hot until about the end of the month. And well, I didn't really want to take these animals to market when it was 105, 107 degrees outside. But I may need to. I may need to start hauling animals to market even though it's blistering hot outside. I'll have to see. Because if I'm going to move all these animals to market by the end of August, so that I have everything ready to go for the second week of September to bring in new animals, I'll need to start taking animals to market ASAP. But I'll have to see. Oh, well, I could always purchase animals in October as well, but I'll just have to see. But my big master plan was to start purchasing animals in September so that I could have them ready for sale in January. But well, we'll have to see, right? If I can clear up just enough of my credit lines to push my credit up high enough that the banker will give me another 0% loan, that's about all I need. But you know, and I could, well, I'll just have to see. But I got to start taking animals to market. I need to start clearing up my credit lines to get my farm ready for a new lot of cattle. So when I, like me here, this in zero shape or form in any way is any sort of financial advice. I am in zero shape or form in any way suggesting that people go and take a loan from the bank to purchase cattle. I'm not suggesting that at all in any shape or form. It needs to be understood that taking a loan from the bank and then flopping and then losing the banker's money could put you in a very, very, very bad situation, especially if it's on a 0% credit line, because these 0% credit lines, usually what happens is if I fail to repay the loan after about 1 year or 1.5 years, that loan will go up to like 25% interest. So let's say I'm in a situation where I take a $60,000 loan from the bank and I just completely bomb out and I lose 50 grand, right? Well, if I lose 50 grand and it's 25% interest, I'm gonna have to owe the bank like 15 grand a year in just straight interest. And so that needs to be understood. I'm not suggesting that anybody go and take a loan from the bank to purchase cattle. But here's the thing, okay, is that like the situation that I'm in, I think a lot of things in life, it's not about what you, it's not about opinions, right? A lot of things in life, it's not about opinions. It's not what people think. It's not what I think. It's about what I know. In terms of like when it comes to cattle, right? The cattle business, it's not just some like shot in the dark. It's about relying on the things that I know and utilizing the things that I know as well as I'm good at to make money. And when I make money, that's kind of the big thing, because a lot of people, when it comes to farming, there's a lot of opinions on farming. Like, I don't wake up every day and go skipping out, happy to go castrate a bull. I don't go out skipping out into the field every day, happy to mix up a tank of herbicide to spray a field. And and those things, there are a lot of things that I do that I'm not I'm not exactly I do them because I understand that it's necessary. I've been doing this for so long that I know that if I were going to try to do this some other way, it would either, one, cost way too much money, or two, it just wouldn't happen. Like when like a lot of people, like this idea of like I could just leave the ground alone, like I don't have to plow the soil or I don't have to spray herbicide, and I could just leave the soil alone and Mother Nature is naturally just gonna grow this magical crop for me, for my cattle to eat. Oh man, Slowpoke trying to jump up on the heifer, so okay. But he banded up, so here in a couple of weeks his testicles are gonna fall off. But Yeah, he trying to jump up on the heifers. That's not good. I can't have him getting up on the heifers. But slowpoke. But yeah, but I mean, but that's just not how the how the world works, right? This whole thing about well, I mean that seems to be one of the common misconceptions about farming. Is like, oh, I'm just going to sit around and I'm going to do nothing, and Mother Nature's just going to grow this magical crop for me, and then I don't have to worry about anything, and the cattle are just going to walk around and they're going to chew on the grass, and everything's going to be good, and they just going to get naturally fat on their own, and all this and that. It's just complete nonsense. I mean, there are very, very, very few places in the world where the soil is actually fertile enough to grow a crop of grass naturally on its own. There are a few places in the world that I'm sure that it does happen, where the soil is fertile enough, but in most places of the world, the soil is not fertile enough to grow a crop of grass that is capable of growing of raising commercial cattle. And because a lot of people, they don't know, but these animals and a lot of these animals and a lot of these plants that people grow nowadays, that people grow, they are unable to grow to their maximum capacity without human interaction. So a lot of these plants, like a lot of these cattle, if humans were to disappear tomorrow, a lot of these cattle would actually disappear too. You know, these cattle, they would not survive without human beings. They need too much food. Their resistance to parasites and stuff are too low, and their natural capacity to handle diseases is too low. But you know, if human beings disappeared tomorrow, a lot of the cattle would die. Most of the cattle, I mean, practically all of these cattle would disappear. And things like buffalo and water bison and stuff like that. I mean, but that's the kind of a bovine that would survive. And it's the same way with corn. Same way with corn. Same way with like anything, tomatoes, anything that human beings nowadays practically grow commercially for food. If human beings did not exist, our crops would disappear too. And a good way to think about it is like a dog. If human beings were to disappear tomorrow, the dogs that human beings have been breeding for such a long time would practically disappear as well. They would just kind of go into the natural population of feral dogs, and they would turn into almost like a hyena looking thing. Like if you ever seen like a documentary on Australia where they have a lot of wild dogs running around everywhere, they practically look like hyenas. They got the big old ears on them, and they look like coyotes and hyenas. But that's practically what would happen. You know, if human beings didn't do what we did, a lot of the things that we have accomplished up until now in terms of animal breeding, in terms of crop breeding, and all these different sciences, everything that we've accomplished up until now would practically disappear. And so that's the reality of the situation, is that a lot of these things that I do, I don't do them because it particularly makes me happy. Like I don't go around spraying the field with glyphosate because it makes me happy. You know, it's because I understand that either I need to plow the soil or I need to spray it with glyphosate. And if I spray it with glyphosate, the plant material will die and my soil will stay intact. So I'm able to save a lot of water. That's one of the major reasons why I spray the field with glyphosate. And when needed, if it's absolutely needed. Like I've only sprayed the field with herbicide one time, and that one time that I sprayed it, I made sure to spray it as hard as I could. I sprayed it with 2,4-D. I sprayed it with herbicide, or I sprayed it with 2,4-D, Duracor, and glyphosate. And so the one time I sprayed my field, I sprayed it very, very, very thoroughly. But this is the, you know, but now I have like a practically an empty canvas to grow whatever grass that I want on now. And so I've only sprayed the field one time, and but you know, it just is what it is, right? But it's because I know, you know, I've been doing this for long enough to know that if I don't clear the field in some way or form to plant grass, what's going to happen is I'm going to end up growing a whole bunch of brush, and it's not going to be good. It's not just like, I'm not just magically going to have some grass appear on the field that just magically turns into this wonderful thing for the cattle to eat. a lot of these brush type grasses, they got poisons in them and stuff. Like Johnson grass, if it gets too hot, if it gets too cold and it gets to a drought and stuff like that, it'll turn poisonous. And I mean, all sorts of stuff going on with it. And so and also to really keep the weed pressure off of the field, and to really provide a lot of food for these cattle, I need to plant the grass at a certain level of planting density. I need to have a certain level of planting density on the field to keep the weeds off of the field, and also to grow enough biomass for the animals to have enough feed to consider it a valuable food source for these animals. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's not just well, I mean, you know, it's not easy. That's the thing. And that's the thing about farming too, is that you know, a lot of people lose a lot of money thinking that they can be a farmer, and then they go and they think they can be a farmer, then they be a farmer, and then they just absolutely bomb out, lose all their money, and then now they're stuck in a horrible situation. And that's not where people want to be. You know, that's not a good spot to be. But that's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.